the mark of booty.
Shit. Nah. Love the royal priesthood. Mark of Buddha, Sekou the Madman, Killer Priest, Fourth Chambers, Full Fuji. This beat sound like something I wear. You dig? Yo, hold on my people, why you walking around like you equal? They wrote you in as 3/5. What we gon' do about this? Talk too much, you end up like Jimi Hendrix in 27 Club. You want that knowledge? Well, I'm the plug. Knowledge yourself is the drug. And I keep dropping the nugs. Culture pushing, wisdom spitting, pimping simpletons into listening. Y'all know why you spewing fiction. I can feel the tensions in your intentions. I wonder if that's John's in heaven. If God is white, why he write that bronze was the sun? They give us reparations, that's when the apocalypse begins. Yeah. Red rhyme, okay. Yeah. Red rhyme, better rhyme. Grab your guns, daughters and sons. Wasn't long ago when they had his hung. Blood on the leaves, frontal crumbled in between. Exhale for my ancestors that prevailed. We inhale, so we inhale, dodging death every day. Just happy I'm here to tell the tale. Meanwhile, y'all with the pigs and them tattletales. I'ma just be a scientist if it all fails. Mixing chemicals like a cocktail. My tree smell like it's from the tropical. So not for sale, never settle. Follow the tears on the trail. Nah.
That whole African American thing is to omit, you see, the indigenous black man of this particular land. When we brought the African American term, we cut out all of the Caribbean, all of South America, all of Latin America. This is another way to reclassify you, you see what I'm saying, outside of power.
We got blacks, whites, brown and yellow. We got red, those with dreads found from the ghetto. We got bullet led and misled, the smile of the devil. On the face of the moon, heart pound like a rebel. Hear the sound of the metal. War in Iraq, 6 feet underground with the shovel. All over the map, the Bible said signs of the time. The Torah said that's your God, not mine. The Holy Quran says it's all Allah designed. The Buddhist says let's meet at the shrine. Thou shalt not eat of the swine. That you is the cut, sure as blue as the blood. Killer priests in the temple, Nehru is the love.
That's a political move that was put in by the government to break you down to this subclass, you see, and not be a world community. So to call you an African American is to disconnect you from that global community and that great diaspora that we were talking about. So that's a political move. Yes, come on. The average Native American was this brother's complexion at the turn of the century. Now when you say Native American, it's some white person with a feather in his hair.
All right. And welcome back to New Day Resurrection and Liberation. I am your co-host and moderator this evening, Brother Lumumba Uncaged. And of course, I have with me the host with the most, Sister Empress Chi, aka Dr. Filet.
All right. Greetings, Brother Lumumba. Greetings, New Day family. Hey, today was interesting. Here in Philadelphia, of course, there was a commemoration for El Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X. And the park is always a good vibration. I mean, the name of the park is Malcolm X Park. So, of course, it would be a good vibration. Great entertainment, or shall I say edutainment, great arts and culture, a lot of nice, really nice stuff with the vendors. And, it was good to be out in the nice kind of air, the grass and things of that nature. So big ups to those that put that event on for today. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing over the past couple of years is something is happening with the kinds of gatherings that we used to have. They're just, the energy is really different. And we're going to work on that. Believe me, we're going to really start working on it. And I tell you, today was inspiring for me because I'm now even more, more, shall we say, motivated to start searching for new talent, new art. Some of the brothers and sisters that were out there today were dynamite. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah. What about that? What do you think, Brother Lumumba? A couple of folks that we saw was off the hook.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. There's some great performers, you know, and one of the main things that we look for when we're looking at quality art is artistic integrity, family,
Right.
artistic integrity, okay? And having some type of responsibility for the messaging that's being delivered, okay?
Right.
Accountability and responsibility for that. And we saw a plethora of that today, and it was much appreciated, and sorely under serviced, or under promoted. So we definitely want to make sure
Yeah.
that further to the forefront.
Absolutely. And like I said, we're going to work harder to start finding new and creative and, talented artists with the kind of mindset, the kind of spirit that we want to see. And we're going to start promoting them even more. And again, reaching out even more to find them. So with that said, I'm going to be heading to Newark in July. We already have the date. I have to pull it up for you. We're going to be going to Newark, and we're going to also be going over to Baltimore, back to DC. We're going to be heading to Atlanta in July as well. So a lot is getting ready to go on with MWM, and also the Ubuntu movement now. The arts and culture movement is in effect. We're going to tell you a little more about that as we go into tonight's program, so that you're ready for tomorrow, because our weekly meeting is tomorrow at 7. And we'll share a letter with you that is going out to a lot of different artists, not just music, but also drama or theater and things of that nature. So we'll share the letter with you that Baba Abiodun and Brother Lumumba and myself drafted, but Baba Abiodun is kind of spearheading it. And so we're going to be sending that out this week, inviting artists to be a part of the kickoff, which will be August the 23rd. That is our projected date in New York. Hopefully, things will move pretty quickly now. But we want to, again, feature new artists along with some of the well-known artists. But this is a kickoff. So we're going to be building for the next 3 years. We call it 1, 2, 3. And it's connected to, of course, the 123 countries that are members of the United Nations that did that incredible vote on March the 25th of this year. And so we're going to be doing a special salute to those countries on August the 23rd. And with that special salute, also give them a note of appreciation, a note of thanks, because we now want to see what we can do collectively. Now, we know that for some, there's some kind of information, or maybe in some regards misinformation, about how other people in other countries are, trying to usurp or get in the way of what we're doing here. And I can only say that the people that I have been able to be connected with, that's not the case. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but what I am saying is we're connecting with brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora who get it, who not only respect what we're doing here, but want to support in whatever way, and vice versa, meaning their struggle is going to be with various countries because of colonization in Africa. So we know that some of the countries are going to be fighting for reparations when it comes to some of the colonizers for their country, such as France, such as England, Portugal. And so, things are already kind of underway. And so again, in beginning with the conversations or the dialogues, and we're going to proceed. And this is what the whole thing is about, to build the relationship so that we can literally see how can we support one another. Not getting in anybody's way, not try to, do anything shady. No, that's not it. We want to see how can we support. So on our end, we already know, for example, some of the countries in Africa are demanding to get their artifacts back, right? Because we know that various countries, European countries, literally plundered, really, took incredible art. And see, some of these things were in such a way that only the people themselves can really appreciate it because they were connected directly to their culture, to their traditions. And so, when it comes to war or when it comes to people taking some stuff over, one of the elements in that is to take their artifacts. And this is what has happened. It's a way to indicate that you've been conquered, or that someone now has control of your art and so forth. And so this is what has happened over the years. So to my knowledge, one of the things that countries are now doing, particularly in Africa, is gearing up to get their artifacts and other kinds of, is another word for it, but the kinds of things that are indigenous to them, to their culture, to their country, to their religions, to their folk way of mores, that others have taken, and have no real appreciation for it, for real, but it's a symbol of being conquered, and that's what it's really about. So again, we're going to look at how we can support some of those kinds of ventures, right? And at the same time, look to see how countries can support us. Now, again, that's our strategy. We're not saying that it's the only strategy. We're not saying that it's the best strategy, but it's our strategy. And what we say to people is, do you. Don't worry about what we do. If you don't agree, it's okay. Everybody don't have to agree with what we do, and we don't have to agree with what everybody else do. Right? But we need to at least try to respect one another when we can and stay out of each other's way. That's where we're at with it. So we're going to keep you abreast of how we're moving forward in building with countries who are also going to be fighting for justice based on the specific atrocities that have occurred with them. And again, we're going to develop whatever relationships we possibly can. All right. So tomorrow we'll go more into that. I want to also remind everyone that we got a chance to talk with Mike Africa Jr. today. He's been on the move, needless to say. This week, of course, did in fact commemorate the 41st year of the bomb that was dropped here in Philadelphia, unaliving 11 people. Yep. One of the things that we did not talk about to a great extent, even though the other evening we did have some of the Move family with us on Ethereal. That was kind of a surprise for folk, but they did join us, Sister Janine and Janet, along with Sister Ramona Africa, and also Brother Eddie Africa. And actually, Brother Eddie Africa stayed on the whole time. He felt very comfortable and very connected, to Ethereal Journey. So I'm sure he'll be coming back, Brother Lumumba.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. So, but we did talk briefly about something that we're going to be talking more about in the near future, and that is what this system has done and possibly is still doing when it came to some of the remains of the children. We talked about it briefly last Tuesday on Ethereal. We're going to be talking about it more because as we speak, a independent commission is now being formed. And we say this because any of you that are interested, we invite you to get involved. The independent commission is the next step to what it is that we're working on in regards to Black human rights as it pertains to specific cases. So we not only, of course, are going to focus on the 400 plus years that the transatlantic slave trade is connected to, but we want to also bring it up to date or more of a current time to show the connection. And so the 1985 bombing here in Philadelphia certainly exemplified the kinds of not only behavior, but the kinds of violations of our people. And now it continues with the remains of the children, some of the children being, placed into institutions such as the University of Pennsylvania and Princeton for anthropological study or forensic studies without the permission of the family. They found out about it. And now, as it's seen in doing the comparison of the photos, the family that is, might not still have received all of the remains. So this thing is going on. It's still going on. So we're going to talk more with Mike tomorrow about that, and also about the work that he's doing in preserving the house that was initially targeted for the bombing. He was to turn it into a museum, and this past week he had several events to help raise funds and awareness in that regard. But what we're going to also be talking with Mike about is, in terms of the commission, the kind of mission, or one of the missions for the Independent Commission on the 1985 bombing in Philadelphia. One of the purposes is to take it literally to international court, world court, and to have hopefully them to declare it as a crime against humanity, so that for years to come, it's not just a tragedy. It's not just, an infamous moment. It's not just, a horrific day. We want it listed historically, politically, ethnically, ethically, as a crime against humanity / genocide. And so that's one of our missions. And so in the next couple of years, we will be reviewing the report, the evidence, what happened prior, what happened during, what happened after, and get it ready for presentation in Geneva, Switzerland. We also plan to enter the case of the inmates that were subject to experimentation here in Philadelphia. Come to find out, there's also a women's prison that we're now investigating as well. You never hear any discussion about this happening at the women's prisons, but in my recent research, it has come up that it has also happened at one of the women's prisons, but we're still working on verifying that. But we do know it did happen, specifically at Holmesburg Prison here in Philadelphia. There's a book that has been written about it. It's called Acres of Skin, which goes in depth about how it happened, who were responsible, the corporations that used inmates for experimentation, how it was coordinated with the university, et cetera, and how some of the products you have today for certain skin treatments came from those experiments. And the experiments ended up it was very harmful to the inmates who were not aware of any of the possibilities of what could happen. So we're going to be going more into all of those things at another time. But moving right along for tonight, there's so much going on right now. And one of the questions, again, that we wanted to ask you all, again, going back to the move bombing, which also was, shall we say, a terroristic act against the Black community. Now, this is a part of the story that really has not been told yet. And this is our plan to do so, because even though the actual target, or the main target, was the MOVE organization, the MOVE family, it was also to make certain that a message would be sent throughout the city to Black folks. Again, because we had folks that were really about some things in this city years ago. They were more than just activists or organizers. They were freedom fighters. So MOVE was kind of used to send a message and a warning also to others. And we're going to be able to tie that in to show you how people who were doing incredible work in our community after that bombing, things changed. And it hasn't been the same since. And so a healing process has to occur in this city. And we dare say by approaching it now with having it labeled or having it presented as genocide, that will help with the healing. So we're going to ask you all to kind of give us your view on what do you think, based on what the definition of genocide is. Do you think the bombing of 1985 here in Philadelphia was, in fact, an act of genocide? What are your thoughts, Brother Lumumba?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see if I can pull up shortly the dictionary definition of genocide. But based on the fact that this family was attacked, and this was a continuation of attacks on the Move family, and so over 10,000 rounds that was fired into the building. The building was flooded. It was filled with tear gas, and then if all of that wasn't bad enough, a incendiary device was dropped on top of it. Okay, and which resulted in the loss of life of 11 people, including 5 children. Okay, so with all of that being said, I would definitely say so that this would land under the jurisdiction of genocide.
Absolutely. And the other thing that needs to be noted is when the people attempted to come out of the house, they were heavily fired upon, meaning as they tried to escape the fire that was obviously out of control, they were met with bullets. And so they had to run back in the house. This is the kind of thing that needs to be understood. And the evidence, the information is there. It's written. It has been confirmed. And of course, Ramona Africa is the only survivor. And she herself has said in her own words that when they attempted to come out, they were fired upon and ended up running back into the house. And of course, in running back into the house, that of course made the situation to the degree where some succumbed. See. And so again, we want to make sure that for the future, for the generations that are to come, for the historians that are to be able to write, or writers, or in general, we want to make sure that this story is told adequately, is documented adequately. And we already know there has to be a blame that the city, the government has. And the reason why I know that is because Ramona Africa did file a suit against the city. The suit was a civil suit, though, and she did win. So she would not have won that suit if, in fact, there was not some liability on the city, on the government. Lastly, and then we're going to try to get some comments from you all. Lastly, here's the other thing that needs to be really understood. And it's kind of interesting in one way as well. But we want to make sure that our people are a little more in tune and in sync to how things can happen and be justified, right? And so this system uses us to justify some of what they do to us. And in this particular case, they would say, well, the neighbors were complaining, and this is what caused this to happen because the neighbors were complaining. The other thing we need to point out is this was not just city officials. This was not just state officials. This was, in terms of law enforcement, this was coordinated with the military. So again, we gotta look at the real dynamics. This was also coordinated with military officials. So again, Brother Moon, were you able to locate the definition of genocide? Okay, we're not hearing you. All right, I'm not sure what's going on there. Can you hear me? Because we can't hear you. All right, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, there you are.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yep. But yeah, I got the definition here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. What is genocide? Okay. Crime against humanity consisting of the planned and deliberate extermination of a people. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen on that one. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, so you all can see it for yourself. Okay, here we go. All right, see if I can blow that up. Okay, there it is, family. Genocide, crime against humanity consisting of the planned and deliberate extermination of a people.
Yep.
All right. That's coming from Wikipedia. And I can have some other sources for you if you would like as well. All right. Further definition: genocide is a partial or total destruction of a human group committed intentionally. All right. The popular view conceives of genocide as a large-scale killing of individuals, but in the scholarly and legal fields, genocide occurs when the group itself is targeted. Acts of genocide, including killing as well as non-lethal acts, such as preventing production among the group. Preventing reproduction among the group, the forcible transfer of children to another group, and also cultural genocide. All right.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. So, okay. I see we have Brother Moses in. Let's ask Brother Moses what his thought is. Do you, Brother Moses, think that the 1985 bombing was, in fact, an act of genocide based on the definition that Brother Lumumba just gave us?
Certainly, there was an act of genocide. We have a consistent pattern and procedure and practice of elimination of Black folk, and it's well documented, and we will continue to document it. Thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. All right.
And we have Sister Segment on the line as well.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Sister Shekmet?
Sister Manera, did you want to add to the conversation?
Well, definitely. Peace and blessings, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Peace. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
of course.
We hear you loud.
Definitely genocide. You know, they had all out attempt. That was an attempt, calculated, targeted attempt for assassination of the Move 9. Definitely.
Sure.
No doubt about it. with every law enforcement agency, all the way up to the military. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
bombing
Yep.
from bombing from above. They
Yeah.
sent bombs in. Come on.
That's
They
right.
they meant to exterminate any and everyone that was in sight.
Yeah, it was vicious because there is a well, there's a video of the police commissioner, and he was asked by the fire commissioner what should he do, because it was obvious that the fire was out of control. And so, remember, the fire commissioner, is under, well, I won't say under, but he reports to the police commissioner. So in a situation like that, he has to take orders from the police commissioner. So he asked the police, and this was recorded. He asked the police commissioner what should they do, because the fire was getting completely out of control, and it's recorded that the police commissioner said, "Let it burn." Literally, he said that, "Let it burn." And so they did. And as a result, the entire block, approximately 61 homes, went up in flames. Those people lost everything. You see. So again, and I'm telling you, the fear that went in around the city of Philadelphia and the black communities, it never dissipated. It remained, and it changed things. So we're going to go into that, because you cannot dismiss the entire. It's a big piece of this that has to be dealt with, that has not been dealt with. So we're going to make sure that we approach it from every angle. So thank you for that, Sister Sheckman. Listen, while we have you here, you all just had a real deep, interesting election. Can you kind of give us a little insight into that for a minute?
Oh yeah.
That was
Very,
a
very,
close one.
very, yeah. It
That
was
was a close one.
definitely. But anyway, we don't we basically we know how the Baraka team got in, because uh of course there's been like Team Baraka won again. The 8 of them that actually ran on the same slate. But we got one of our uh warrior sisters who won by with no money. The people elected her, sort of like how Ras Baraka got elected in the beginning when he wasn't with the machine. It was basically grassroots effort. But anyway, they got reelected, 8 of them.
Mhm.
A very, very the voter turnout gets lower and lower and lower every year.
Mhm.
So, but there's been like a lot of voter intimidation, a lot of voter suppression with the candidates that was running, because we had like it was actually 7 people who tried to run against Raz, and it was like maybe like 14 or 15 council at large running. And also in the wards there were individuals. It was only one council person that went unchallenged.
Mhm.
And We got Donna, if anybody know, is sort of like, one of the most confrontational uh advocates here in the city of Newark. He was once in support of Raz, when he was uh sort of like supposed been a grassroots uh advocate. And like after a year of him getting in office, things changed. So
Uh-huh.
she's been outspoken like a year into his election because she witnessed, all the money that was being stolen, all the corruption surrounded, and people were in his camp, and a lot of things that he wasn't doing because he was supposed to come in there with the same type of mindset of a Maynard Jackson. If anybody know Maynard Jackson from you know, where was he from? Atlanta. He was supposed to come in and help the people, and and that just did not happen. So it was very interesting because we got able to flip one of those seats. And then we have another runoff that is going to take place in June 9th, with the South Ward, and it's a female running against one of Team Baraka. So we're gonna put uh every effort into trying to get her in that seat. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, she's she's a female, and we don't have we have just we just had two women on there, and it's been that way for a very long time, where we just had two women on the council. But
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to push for supporting her, which she is also she's a lawyer, she's an educator, and she's very intellectual, and she has a good following, because that's why she was able to, win with the people, because she
Mm-hmm.
didn't even have money herself to run for that ward either. She had just the help of her, her mother and her family members, as well as, some of the community that supported her. So there's a runoff in the South Ward, which is one of the, most heavy populated uh wards in Newark. And it's also the ward that most of our elected officials like Sharp James, Mayor Baraka, Councilwoman Crump, now her son, all of them they live in the South Ward. So that's like one of the most prestigious wards in Newark. So we trying to make sure that we back her, we support
Uh-huh.
her, and we get her in, because the person that was on Team Baraka team is basically, we're gonna see some of the same stuff. They've been in office for 12 years. 12 years, and now it's gonna be 16 years with the because they just got reelected.
Wow.
And nothing. 16 years, I mean, well, actually 12 years of nothingness. Nothingness. It's just a lot of, you know, um, supported their campaign, donors, all the people who, cater to them and bow down, and, those are the only individuals, his family members, everybody that is, bootlicking and buck dancing and going along to get along with the Baraka team. those the individuals that are, getting grants, getting contracts and this and various different trinkets that our people well, people in high places do. They give our people little trinkets and stuff, so they can buy their boats and buy their support, and that's all that's been happening here because we have the highest eviction in the state of New Jersey and in the county of Essex. We have a homeless population, the highest homeless population under this administration. We have stores are closing, shutting down, going out of business. We got high rents, high foreclosures. Any and everything you could think of is what's happening here under this same failed leadership. But it was a low voter turnout, and we know that individuals are, they rigging the election through the mail-in ballots because some people receive mail-in ballots, and we seen mail-in ballots with they had their names in bracket, the Baraka team. If that's not in violation of the Hatch Act, I don't know what it is. And then you seen his team tearing down people's signs. This is like people have seen video, tapes of the Baraka team tearing down people's signs. It was just so messy that if you can go and look at this podcast that his brother Midi Baraka was on yesterday, he was like he never seen a election that's so nasty and just the worst that he ever seen. He even had to, you know, um, fess up to the fact that it was this all out war on individuals. They had AI using AI, posting candidates pictures up in a negative acts, showing negative caricatures of candidates. It was just so messy. Then we seen where they were getting people, elderly people, using them to sign petitions. This stuff is all on videotape. Then you got where one of the community advocates seen where they were bringing elderly people into the voting thing, and it was just so much voter intimidation, voter suppression, and voter fraud taking place. Um, Not only this year, but last year and every year that this Baraka administration ran for election. It's just been messy, real bad. It's just terrible. So we had a team of people who called on monitors to come in and monitor the election,
Uh-huh.
and they went to the federal courthouse, did a press conference right in front of the federal courthouse, right here in Newark, and it's displaying it clear that they don't even care about voter fraud, voter intimidation, and anybody violating a hash act because they didn't even come here to monitor the election.
Wow.
It's
So,
just so much corruption with this administration. Uh it's just bad.
So with that said, Sister Manira, and thank you for sharing that with me. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you about that, to share it so that people could hear it, because this is not new. And particularly with what we're seeing with voting and so forth, we're going to see a lot of stuff happening in the next 2 years. Now, the thing I want to point out for those who do not know, Sister Manira used the name, or said the name, Ras Baraka. For those who don't know, it is in fact the son of the famous poet writer Amiri Baraka. And what we have found over the years is that in too many situations, the children are not like the parent, like the mother or father. We saw something similar in Jackson, Mississippi with Chokwe Lumumba. Meaning they, from what I'm told and have been able to research, it's some very different stuff that has happened. And when you do the comparative analysis, meaning Chokwe Lumumba Sr., who was also mayor, was very, very progressive and very black. His son, from what I've been told, is a different story, which is why he's no longer the mayor now. He got voted out. Now, of course, it's different with Ras Baraka, because as you said, this is going to be 16 years. But again, when you kind of look at it, 9 out of 10, when you have, excuse me, when you have a child or a parent who was in the political arena, the children seem to be very different and definitely not up to par. Right. So just something to pay attention to. Lastly, before we go, Sister Manir, this I want to share with you and with others. NWM beginning in September, but we'll be doing meetings leading up to September. We're going to be talking more about the Million Woman Party. And again, it is not to be designed like the Green Party or Democratic Party, none of that. This is not our purpose. Our purpose is to educate, train, recruit, research, and so forth. To begin to run our own candidates, back our own candidates, support our own candidates, etc. That's what we're talking about doing. Scouting and making certain that we had the right people for our community and that they're going to stick to our agenda. Right? And so for those who made last week's session with Brother Charles Barron, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some things out of it. From what we talked to, people we talked to, they said they most certainly did. And we want to remind everyone that on Monday, we will be doing part 2. Because again, we're building our own national Black political agenda. With that said, I'm saying to all of you tonight, and share it with whomever, we're looking now for delegates. Delegates that will meet in March of 2027. We will meet to begin to determine our national Black political agenda. There is going to be another election in 2028. And it's not like we're advocating for it or anything like that, but we're being irresponsible by not giving our people something to at least look at and to think about. And so as a collective, we're going to meet in March. The projected location is Gary, Indiana. It is the 55th year commemoration of the National Black Political Convention that took place there in Gary 55 years ago, come next year. And again, our mission, or one of our missions, is to develop a national Black political agenda so that whoever's running, here's what we're saying as a collective. One of the parties that we'll be introducing is the RBG party. So again, in creating a national Black political agenda. We want to make certain that we are in sync, that we can present to our people something that is cohesive, clear, and at least let's act like we're trying to demand some things as a people. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Monday, we'll give you more information about setting up a team in your community so that delegates can come in March. So we're encouraging folk to join the We Charge Genocide 21 movement because that will be a part of how this is going to operate in terms of being organized. So I just wanted to put that out there for tonight with us getting ready to commemorate Brother Malcolm. Brother Malcolm gave us not only great information, he gave us instructions. And we're going to talk more about that a little later on. Brother Moonlit, please keep your eyes open for Brother Versus, who is going to be joining us very shortly. Surprise guest will be joining us very shortly.
Okay, will
Okay.
do.
Can I also add to about the election? There was
Mhm.
another candidate that ran for Central Ward, and um, I supported our former councilwoman Gail Cheneyfield, who also is the councilwoman who gave MWM the the proclamation.
Mhm.
So she ran again for her ward because individuals were calling her to come back in the race and run against who is another known community advocate turned political operative to me. Frederica Bay of the Women in Support of the Million Man March, which they get
Uh-huh.
it mixed up with Million Woman Movement. And I make sure I make it clear that those are two separate individuals. My
Absolutely.
president general is President General Empress Chi. Two different groups, women in support of the Million Man Marches with the Nation of Islam, and Million Woman March is the original. It's two different people, and they
And and
always seem to get it
and
mixed
Sister
up.
Manira, I have to say this for the record. To my knowledge, we have never gotten support from that other group.
Well, I know,
Okay, no, I want that
right?
put on record. I want to say it.
But
I
anyway,
don't want there to be an assumption.
her daughter, who was also, because the Baraka family and them, they have a allegiance to each other. So you know, she actually they pushed her to run against former councilwoman Gail Cheneyfield, who is one of the strong advocates in this community, and her family has laid the foundation and the legacy in the city of Newark. So she came back in the race to run for Central Ward, but she was the one who ran against Ras when she ran I think it was 2018 for mayor, and she missed it by like I think 3 or 4 thousand votes when she ran against him. But anyway, she ran against Frederica's Bay daughter, who was Amina Bay. And that race kind of got messy too because number one, she didn't want to debate because she ain't have nothing to debate on. So she skipped past debating with Gail. So that was another act of voter suppression or campaigning or whatever, because that it's normally always a debate, or at least a conversation about accomplishments.
Right.
So that never happened. They also banned her out of they allow Amina Bay to go into senior meetings, senior buildings, senior meetings, because that they know that is like a population of the seniors are who they get they bulk of their votes from, whether they be uh through fraud or whatever. They manipulate the minds of these seniors. So they banned her and blocked her out of senior buildings, senior events. And I mean, it was just total violations after violations that was actually seen on videotape. And these are people that in the past, Ras Baraka fought against all of this stuff. Fought against corruption, against Sharp and Booker. Fought against so many things. Fought for housing. Fought for this. Fought for that. For the people, and then they turn around and they have become what they fought for. Fought against. And I mean, how you try to ban someone when you was out here advocating, when the other individuals that was in office, when they did this to you, you fought, you rallied, you protest. But now you have become them, the oppressor.
So let me stop it there, because here's the reality. Everything that you just said has been said, not just about Ras Baraka, but others. So when you do 100-year analysis, which is what we've done, you're going to hear these same things being said. So what we're saying is, when do we get to the point where we develop something else?
Well,
Close to,
MWM, we do have something else, and
right, but
we've been
absolutely.
coming here trying to, start the Million Woman Party. We done had meetings here. I done have hosted you here numerous times on a podcast, on a cable channel. I mean, and like I said, to me, our people is just like now. I mean, I don't know what to call it. Bad.
Well, and this is where we're at now, because we have done all those things. Now it's about doing the things with the people who want to do it. So it doesn't mean we're not going to still attempt to do outreach or build. But
Oh
what we
no.
are going to do now is work closer, more adamantly, more diligently with similar like minds, or those who are now ready to do some things. And see, this is going to get some things done, because to keep trying to convince people at this stage of the game, because what we're talking about is not something that hasn't been talked about. Again, we're looking at the 55th year coming up of the National Black Political Convention. Now, when you go back and listen or read some of what they talked about, we're talking about some of the same stuff right now after half of a century. And so the buck got to stop here for real at this stage of the game. So what we're looking at now is how we're going to finance our own everything. And we figured that out. For example, we know that music, arts, culture, entertainment / edutainment is going to always be viable. It's going to always generate revenue, even when people don't have no money or extra money. So now, why would we not be focusing on producing our own music, our own films or documentaries or whatever? And I mean, that's a rhetorical question because that's exactly what we're getting ready to do. And people are coming on board that either have those expertise or will have those expertise. They're going to be developing it. So the point that I'm trying to say to people is, people can continue to sit back and hem and haw and all that stuff, and that's fine. Go right ahead. And we'll love you, some of you anyway, nevertheless. But we ain't waiting for you like that. Not now. It's a wrap. What we said
And some
earlier.
of them get in your way too. So
Well,
if they in the
no,
way,
that's on us. That's on us. See, the one thing I've learned, Sister Manir, is this is why I look at the Nation of Islam and I'm very appreciative. Maybe not so much now, but at some point, you didn't mess with the nation. People you didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm saying we learn from those who have come before us. You didn't mess with the deacons of defense and other entities. So we've learned now what we've got to do. We're not going to let people get in the way, at least not without there being a response. And we'll talk more about that very, very soon in terms of how we plan to proceed to make certain that folk don't think we're to be played with like that. All legal, all up on board. So all of this about, well, they do this and they do, we letting folks do stuff because we're not like putting them in a position where it is, y'all don't want to do that. That's why our women and girls have been so vulnerable, because the enemies know that nobody cares to the degree that they're going to do anything.
because my thing is that how these individuals, they go and do a press conference calling on election monitors, and then not only that, they we went to testify about the corruption when they did the voter intimidation, when Gail ran for mayor. And
So
I mean, there was just so many violations of the Hatch Act that went, just fell like swept under the rug, to the point like I don't understand. Like it only shows that they don't care. They don't care. We practically kill ourselves because that's what they don't care.
So this is the point again I'm making. We're in 2026. When do we not know that? Meaning, see,
Right, we know that,
it's
but
on us. It's on us. At this stage of the game, first of all, who runs the Democratic Party or the Republican Party? Are they our parties?
right.
See, again, this is, to me, is foolishness beyond a certain point. And I'm not suggesting that we don't play it. I'm not suggesting that. Play it, whatever kind of way. But to believe in it, that is insanity like that. Meaning, remember, this is the 250-year anniversary of the so-called founding of this country in the context of the documentation, meaning the John Hancock on the paper. That's when it went into official form. So George Washington, the first president, had slaves. So what part of this do we not get? The man had slaves, even though he was signing the paper that said all men are created equal. So why would people believe in this stuff beyond a certain point? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's there. We have to deal with it, but to believe in it as if what they say is legal or right or whatever. I remember when Mike Africa was coming up, he used to be, they used to have a part of Move called Seeds of Wisdom. And one of the, and they did rap, right? And one of the raps they used to do was, just because it's legal, don't make it right. Right. And so what I'm saying is, to think that this stuff is really like the law like that, it's crazy. It makes no sense. And again, I get your point, sis. I get your point, because that's the way it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna just say this one thing and leave it at that. What did they just do in Louisiana?
The redistricting. They
Hmm. And in doing so, created a situation. See, that's what I'm saying. They'll give people, they'll give us some things, right?
Well, they're
And
voting
then
that, right? They restricted it.
they make it so people can't vote. That's what's going to
Right,
happen.
right.
And I'm saying again, the way the system is structured, they'll have it one way, and it'll be like that for a while. And that's the game. That's the game they play. And then after a while, they undo that and do something else. And then you got to fight all over again. And see, this is a generational situation. So by the time one generation accomplishes something, before that generation is finished, they take it back. And then the next generation got to fight for it again. It's a merry-go-round trick. And we still don't get it. What did Carter G. Woodson say almost 100 years ago? The Miseducation of the Negro was a great book, but it also showed behaviors and other kinds of things. So, and we still don't get it. By the way, big ups to Dr. Barbara Sizemore, because every time I say that sentence,
Oh
I
yeah, she
think
said
about her.
black folks don't
She,
get
I,
it.
listen, she's my muse sometimes, cause I
Exactly.
keep and look how long ago she said it. Black folks just don't get it. Black folks
Exactly.
still don't get it,
Yeah,
and
I
that's what
love
we're
her.
looking at now. That's what we're looking at now, and I think she said that like 30 years ago. So my point, my sister and family is, if we don't understand this stuff at this stage of the game, at least to the degree where we're ready to make some other moves, then folk need to go home, turn on their TV, and just sit there. Because that's really what it boils down to. If we don't understand some of this stuff now, after all of what our ancestors have been through, showed us, presented to us, and we still don't get this, nope. Uh, 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 uh. So, yes, we have to play some of the games until further notice, but there needs to be an end game. You see, we got to play this game with the intent of there being an end game, meaning something that we are striving for that is going to deal with our independence, our justice, and so forth. These are tools. This is what Brother Charles Barron was saying last week, and what he'll be saying further. This thing is a tool. This ain't something you're supposed to believe in like that. It's a tool, and you use it accordingly. But too many of our people actually think this thing is real to the degree like the Bible, and that's a big mistake. So
Okay.
okay, let me
Well,
check something.
anyway, we got one individual that won the election, which she's consider herself uh the New Jersey Hellraiser. So a lot of people is saying that, they just hope that she just stand up to what she fought for when she was on the ground, you know, um, protesting and helping individuals. So we have a new candidate who is from the grassroots community, and we've seen several of them. But she vowed to bring some changes that we look forward to. So let's keep our fingers crossed and just hope that she is a woman of her word.
Well, I hate to say it, but been there, done that, and it's not to say that she won't be, but this is what I would suggest to people: have a backup plan, because from my experience and other experiences, they get in there, and I'm not sure what happens. I'm not sure if they get hypnosis or what, but that stuff changes up. And then we're thinking whatever, because we don't plan as if that's going to happen. And so I'm just saying, be safe than sorrier. Have a backup plan. That's how we have to proceed now, with the possible anticipation that they're going to jam us. Have something already ready in place, or at least attempt to. We should know this stuff by now. 9 times out of 10, these people going to flip on us. It's the nature of the game. And by the way, as we know, they get in those offices, they get set up, things happen, some pictures pop up,
Yeah.
or some other stuff, and then you got to compromise, you got to slow it down, or they will expose. There's all different kind of scenarios.
Oh yeah, they definitely gonna be. I know, coming at her every which way but right.
Well,
Because, like I said, like Baraka came in with the same radical speeches and out here, on the ground fighting for this, fighting for that. And less than a year he got in office, it was this a total 360-degree turn.
wow.
So let's just keep Norcas. Let's just keep, if you're tuning in,
Well,
and
like I
then
said,
also near and far, keep your ear to the ground about what's going on in Newark. For all those nationwide advocates.
all right, my sister.
Thank you.
All right, family, we're moving right along. I just have one more question for the family. And this, of course, was our kind of open mic piece, because, sometimes we like to give folks the opportunity to share their thoughts. So here's the one last question. And then I think we have Brother Versus coming in. He just texted me and said he's kind of exhausted, but he's going to come in and say something real quick, because he did perform today. But anyway, the quick question to everyone is, needless to say, Black women came together and were very instrumental in raising millions of dollars for a presidential candidate that basically offered nothing for us as a people. And so the question that I'm raising now, because I'm going to be asking this more, and that is, will Black women now step up and support something with a plan? You see? And so, what are your thoughts about that, Sister Munir? And also Brother Lumumba and others. What are your thoughts about that? Because see, now the game is going to get interesting. Because we're going to produce a plan. The Black print is ready, and we're going to now present it. at least segments of it. It'll be presented ready in full next year for the 30-year anniversary, but we're now presenting segments of it. So we want to see now, we want to know now, will our women in particular, our people in general, but our women in particular, will they support it in some kind of way? And we're not even asking them to raise millions of dollars for a campaign. We're not asking them to do that. We just want them to become a member, a support member. I mean, they can do something else they want to, but we're going to keep it real simple so that we can get our own equipment, power sewing machines, embroidery machines, recording equipment, film production equipment, so that we can do our own training, create our own whatever that will generate the monies that we need in order to grow and develop without begging, without kissing butt, etc. So we're going to open up the mic for you all. Do you think Black women will support a plan, a viable, holistic, progressive plan of action that will bring us forward as a people? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it's long overdue. And
Yeah,
I
oh, it
think
is.
we
But
need
the
to
question
stop.
is, will they do it? Oh, no,
Well,
no, it is. It's way overdue. But the question
way
is,
overdue, and there should be a call to action that we women need to just start doing.
Peace. It's Brother Lumumba, and I thank you for that addition, sister segment. Um, so from my vantage point, folks is going to have to be trying to think of the proper word for it, but they're going to have to be reeled in. So and unfortunately, folks are entertained, and they like to see the bells and whistles. So I think it's going to take a concerted effort as far as kind of hitting some of the marks that folks are kind of used to, unfortunately. So that being, having a certain presence on social media, and being able to have certain levels of engagement within that, and possibly even I gotta be honest, having folks come on board that are in a supportive manner or mechanism, and also to in promotion as well, those who are seen as influencers or celebrities and things of that nature. From my vantage point, it seems like that's what it's going to take to get the kind of the masses of people, or regular day-to-day people, in order to show a certain level of engagement and commitment.
okay. So I would agree normally. I mean, basically, that is the way it goes. But because I know that other things can happen because it has happened, then I look to see how that can happen. You see, because based on experience, that's how something else happened, thinking in a way to do something that was not the norm. So now for me, it's a thing of, thinking at this particular time, what can be done that is not the norm? To do the same thing that everyone else does would not accomplish what we need to do in the bigger scheme of things. There has to be a dynamic. This is one of the reasons why I believe the frequency level is so low in our community and in most kinds of endeavors, because the bar is not raised. And see, our people historically, that's how they operated. They thought out the box, and then they strived in that manner. We're becoming accommodationist. We're becoming, well, I tried this and it didn't work, and then we give up. And that's not our legacy. So I agree, but at the same time, I'm not going to try to do that like that. That's business as usual. And if we're going to do the same things that others do in that same kind of manner, then what? I mean, anyway, let me check to see if the brother is in. Oh, I guess you got to check, Brother Lumumba.
Oh yeah, okay, yep. I'm adding them now.
Okay, cool. Oh, yep, he said I'm backstage. Okay. Cool. I'm so excited. See, this is what I'm talking about. After seeing and hearing him today, I know. I mean, not that I didn't have hope before, but it just reaffirmed what I knew. And so we like to welcome our brother versus Mega. This brother did a presentation, or whatever, I won't say presentation. This brother brought it today, y'all. And he, he's been kind of, very active today. So we're gonna, respect his time for tonight and just keep it real short. But next week, we want him to come back and share with you some of his work, and also, what inspired him. Because to do what he did today, that wasn't just some, I mean, I've seen, and I'm sure you all have as well, I've seen artists over the years. But what he did today, that was special, y'all. Telling you. So I'm saying that to say that he did what I'm talking about we have to do in terms of our movement now. We have to be that creative. We've got to be that disciplined. We've got to be that clear. After the brother came off of the stage, people went over to him to tell him, how much they enjoyed it. But then I heard one brother say, I was watching you, brother, and I was watching your children. And as you were rapping, your children were rapping with you. And the brother said, that's why I don't use cuss words in my work. See that right there? That's real stuff right there. Anyway, I'm gonna come off for a minute because I know the brother got to go. But brother, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for the invite. I much appreciate it.
Absolutely. So can we get you back next week?
Sure. It's been a very long day. So we
I
have
know.
election day is Tuesday in my regular work. I do a lot of organizing around getting out the vote. And then from there to my wife just opened a wellness center. So she had a sound bath, a sound healing event today, which is why I was riding solo with the little ones out to Malcolm X Park, and then from there to the radio show that I kind of just got home from. So I appreciate the invite and just didn't want to be too low energy on this show. But I'll say this. I wasn't fully engaged as an artist because I wanted to make sure I kept an eye on my babies.
Right,
But
right.
I was paying attention to where the energy was. You know, it's a park. It's not like a concert where people are there to see
Right.
you per se.
Right.
So
Right.
people are, you know, kids are playing, people are at different stalls, but I pay attention to those who, you know, took a moment and actually heard some of the things that I was saying. And then, as you said, some people did approach me when I got done. Some people that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think were paying attention
Right.
approached me when I got done. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm one of those folks who would literally give my music away if people actually paid attention,
Mm-hmm.
because I do it as a form of communication. I'll give a little bit. My background is in foster care social work, and for the last 15 years or so in union organizing and a lot of community activism. So my music has always reflected that. I've been doing it since I was very young, and I say
Mm-hmm.
idealistic when I was young, and my life has kind of turned that idealism into real life experiences and applied theory. So thank you for paying attention, and that was very high praise of my show. I really appreciate it.
Ashe, Ashe. All right, my brother. Well, we're not going to hold you. I just want, Brother Lumumba, you want to share anything with the brother before he goes?
Oh yeah, yeah, excellent. I mean, just excellent work, and appreciate the craftsmanship. One of the things we were talking about earlier with our artists, one of the things that we look for is that artistic integrity, and making sure that there is responsibility and accountability as it pertains to the messaging, because anybody can say something, and it's a hot beat, and people can talk their stuff, but what are people able to take from it at the end of the day and utilize that is going to actually benefit them, on a day-to-day basis in their daily lives in real life, right? So with the messaging that you delivered today, and like you said, it was a message for everybody. The entire family was out today, and it was a message that folks could gravitate and be able to resonate with, from the senior, all the way down to infant. You know what I'm saying? So, excellent work, and keep up the good job, good brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
And by the way, family, how old is your daughter?
3.
3. So let me tell you what Miss 3-year-old said after her dad. See, I pay close attention to stuff.
Mhm.
This little 3-year-old said to her dad, and I may be paraphrasing, but you'll get the gist of it. That was a good show. That's what she said,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. That's what she said, and
That's what she
she would
said.
have. She ain't gonna lie. So, so, so I must have done well. Yeah, she has no filter. She gonna let you know how she feel about it. So,
Mhm. As children do.
yes, yes.
All right, my brother. Well, listen, I'll let you go. But
I'm
next
about to say,
week,
tell the folks where they could reach you at.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, you
Social
can
media.
find me at
Mhm.
versemagazine.com. The website I put together for my last EP that I released. A couple of songs that you heard today were on that. On IG at Verse Mega, and yeah, Facebook Verse Mega as well. But yeah, we'll get into more of that stuff next week. There's some
Okay,
details
excellent,
about it.
excellent.
Appreciate you. Thank you for
Yes,
reminding
sir.
me to shout that out. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right, all right, my
All right.
brother. Talk to you next week.
Be safe. Blessings.
All right, family. Well, y'all gonna have to be a little intrigued now and wait until next week, unless you go visit the website. But when you hear this, brother, you'll hear why I felt it was so necessary to, have bring him into the New Day family. He extremely talented, and this is what we're talking about. All of our people have some talent of some sort, some skill, some blessing, some something. And that's what we're talking about. Bring it, whatever it is, you see. And that way we can get some stuff done. Everyone is not supposed to do the same thing. That makes no sense. Bring your A game, whatever it is, and then we can get some stuff done. And that's what we're looking to do now. So, okay, before we go to the next segment, I wanted to highlight something about Brother Malcolm X as we prepare to commemorate his actual born day. We are planning to go up to New York. For those who are interested, we still have seats available. So, we're trying to fill it up because actually that's the only way we're going to go is if we fill it up. We want to take a few students. We do have a few people that have stepped up to support and sponsor a few of our young folks because, again, we want to make sure that they get this history from experiencing it. And so to go up to the gravesite to see the interaction that happens on that day, it's really heart. I mean, it warms your heart amongst other things. It's a real experience. So we want to take some young folks up this time and for the future. So we're getting ready for Tuesday. But before we talk about more about Tuesday or Malcolm X's born day or whatever, we want to look at some of the things in terms of We Charge Genocide. We now have what we call the Malcolm X Legacy Collective. And our focus is to bring forward his work as it pertains to human rights, Black human rights, the things around that area of things, along with Black nationalism / internationalism. So what we're going to do is play a couple of clips. Brother Muma, do you see a couple of clips I sent actually a couple of days ago? I can reset it if you need it. But we want to make sure that folks know what we're talking about. And when we say Black nationalism, now we know for some people that phrase is like taboo, like we cussing at them or something. But we want folks to know, we want folks to know what it is that we're referring to from a political standpoint. Because again, if when you look at economics, there's different types of economics. There's different applications, there's different categories and things of that nature. As with finance and wealth and so forth, as even with politics, there's different types. So why must we always embrace the European ideals, their structure, their etc.? Why must we always do that? Brother Malcolm taught us Black nationalism. And in teaching Black nationalism, he defined what it is. So if we can hear that clip, Brother Lumumba, what did Brother Malcolm X teach us in terms of Black nationalism? What does it represent?
All right, you just resent that. You resent it already?
Oh, I thought you said you had it.
No, I was saying send it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, while I'm sending it, is there anyone that knows or have an idea or from your understanding of it? What is Black nationalism? Anyone? Wow. Okay. Well, I'll just wait and find the clip for you. Hold on a moment. But these are some of the things that we now want to
I would say building
Go ahead.
building everything for your nation of your people.
Mm-hmm.
Build your own government, your own schools. This for you and your people, for us, by us.
Ashe.
Your own nation.
Ashe.
With just your own people. and fulfilling everything that they need.
Yep. There you go. So now, why would someone be against that? Hmm. Obviously, because they don't want to see us have our own or do for self. What other reason could there be?
They want us to continue being in the caste system, beggars, workers, beggars, and beneath them. They don't
Okay,
want us
brother
to have,
Newman.
because I mean, we had Black Wall Street, and we had other places that were, you know, made, created for and by our people. And you
Mm-hmm.
see, they bombed them down, and white mobs,
Mm-hmm.
burn some of our, our black centers, burnt them
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So, they want to continue to have us on the bottom feeders.
Right. That's right.
You
Okay.
know,
So again, if anyone has, shall we say, an opposition to us practicing from a political economic position black nationalism, what should that tell us? If our people, and I'm not concerned about other people right now, but if our people are in opposition of black nationalism, what is that telling us? Anyway, let's hear from Brother Malcolm.
Today, Malcolm X formally announced his split with the Black Muslim movement centered in Chicago. Malcolm was a top lieutenant in that movement. He started his own political organization here in New York City. Mr. X has been quoted as saying that the white man is by nature a devil and that he must be destroyed. Mr. X, is your organization bent on the destruction of the white man?
No, I don't think that you've ever heard any Muslim say anything about destroying the white man. Although when you listen to most whites, it appears that they're ready to destroy themselves. And listening to some of the debates that take place in the United Nations, I think most of them feel that they are destroying themselves. No one will have to destroy the white man. He will destroy himself.
What is the primary purpose of your new political social action organization?
We are organizing the Muslim Mosque Incorporated, which has as its spiritual base the religion of Islam, and has its political philosophy, black political, economic, and social philosophy, black nationalism.
And just what do you mean by black nationalism? Is it the same thing as black superiority or what?
Black nationalism means that the political philosophy of black nationalism means that the black man should be in control of the politics of his own community, that the politicians in the black community should be black men answerable only to the people of that black community. The economic philosophy of black nationalism means that the black man in the black community should be permitted to be re-educated to the point where he can see how to establish his own businesses and factories and control the economy of his own community, whereby he can employ himself, clothe himself, and house himself, instead of having to be a welfare recipient or constantly begging the white man downtown. And the social philosophy of black nationalism is that the black man should be proud of his own society. He should be ready and willing at all times to eliminate the ills and evils of his own society, and thereby not having to force himself into the white society where he is not wanted.
Today at the press conference, you've advocated the formation of Negro rifle and shotgun clubs, said that Negroes should take rifles and shotguns into their homes again for self-defense.
No, I said that in areas where the government has proven itself unable and or unwilling to defend the Negro from the vicious attacks of the rapists and the bigots, and where their churches are being bombed and the little girls are being murdered, then it's time for the Negro himself. Since it is legal to own a shotgun and it is legal to own a rifle, it is time for that so-called Negro man to wake up and be a man and do what is necessary to protect his life and his property as other people in this country protect their lives and their property.
All righty. Now, did he make it plain or what? Was that ambiguous? That's right. That was right there in your face. I mean, what more can one say? So now, clearly, what Brother Malcolm taught, stood for, died for, was that we are able to have the capability to administer, manage, maintain, sustain our own economic, political, etc., in interaction basis and so forth. What is wrong with that? I mean, this is what's going on, y'all. This is what's happening. This is to attempt to do these things. The opposition, look who is opposing these things in our community. Look who's not talking about it. Look who's not trying to do it. They want us to be so much a part of the system in order to keep it functioning to the degree that it does. Now I'm not suggesting that we repatriate or we get out. I'm not suggesting that. Our blood, sweat, and tears is in this land. But to continue to fuel it the way that we do, that is not smart. So, what are your thoughts, family? How should we proceed now? We're talking about creating some plans of action. What are your thoughts?
Indeed.
We gotta learn to separate like ourselves from, like you just said, who's talking about that. And my thing is that if you don't have individuals who are, trying to focus on us, and build for our people and do things independently, because like you show Malcolm, and then you have Garveyites. You had a Garvey who built, a movement, one of the most heavily influential movements in about, that people know about. So my whole thing is that if individuals are not talking about that, then what are they talking about? And we should be setting ourselves aside from them, because if you're not building anything for our people, then I mean, and then we got to get away from gatekeepers. Anybody who's trying to uphold the system of white supremacy and white domination and upholding this system, then we shouldn't be trying to deal with them either.
So again, it goes back to being organized. We shouldn't, but if there's nothing in place that promotes, advocates, and helps to make that happen, then it just remains a conversation.
Well, I'm with, like I said, I'm with my tribe. So
I know that's right. And that's what we're talking about.
I'm with my
And
tribe that's building something, like each and every day is just getting better and better and better. I mean,
that's
like,
right.
so I made it clear what this is going on 30 years now. I am one in a million, and I've been a part of MWM since 1997.
Mm-hmm.
So I I'm clear on who my tribe is, and all them other individuals who have issues with whatever their issues are. I know we are building from ground up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here. So come along,
Marshall.
come along.
All right. Anyone else before we go to the
Or
next clip?
build your own, like you said. If you ain't doing, build your own.
Yep.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else before we go to the next clip? Okay. All right, Brother Boomer, let's try one more. Hold on one moment. Let me pull it back up. Okay.
Number one, of the black man in America is beyond America's ability to solve. It's a human problem, not an American problem or a Negro problem. And as a human problem or a world problem, we feel that it should be taken out of the jurisdiction of the United States government and the United States courts and taken into the United Nations in the same manner that the problems of the black man in South Africa, Angola, and other parts of the world, and even the way they're trying to bring the problems of the Jews in Russia into the United Nations because of violation of human rights. We believe that our problem is one not of violation of civil rights, but a violation of human rights. Not only are we denied the right to be a citizen in the United States, we're denied the right to be a human being.
All righty. So now, that was 65 years ago, y'all, roughly. Why are we just getting to this now? 65 years ago. So, this is not good. We cannot now act like we don't know what we know and not deal with it accordingly. And we got some things we're going to be sharing with you very soon that is very different, but is absolutely necessary. Just to give you an idea as to, how much work we've really put into the development of us moving forward as a people, those who are interested in doing so. We know that everything is not for everyone, and it's okay. But for those who want to do certain things, we are going to be one of the apparatuses for it to happen. Okay? Any thoughts on what Brother Malcolm just said? Which is what now has happened, by the way. But not because we stayed on top of our game. It for me, it's more like nature and other stuff is going into existence to make it happen. But what are your thoughts based on what Brother Malcolm just said?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Brother Lumumba. Absolutely. Seems like a no-brainer. And like you were saying, this was delivered, 65 years ago. So, um, the blueprint has already been laid, and a lot of the work has, already been put forward. A lot of the toil has been done, and so now it's past time to take up these mantles and begin to push these agendas forward into the future and making sure that they are successful and sustainable.
Absolutely. I'm I'm going to do a quick on a kind of go another direction for a moment because I just happened to remember a email that you sent, um, Sister Manira, and I wanted to ask you about it just briefly because we're going to do a whole nother session on human trafficking and so forth. But you sent me something a few days ago highlighting the issue there in Newark. Could you just and again, we're not going to go deep into it right now because there's going to be a whole session on this topic where we provide some statistics. But could you just kind of recap that article that you sent that is now focusing on human trafficking there in Newark?
Well, that's
Uh-uh.
with the mass transit. They focusing on they have a human traffic safe passage,
Uh-huh.
you know, being mindful of, you know, uh human trafficking, watch for things and, keep your eyes open. There's a campaign, with mass transit in terms of giving out literature, and they
Mm-hmm.
have a QR code where you can go and how what to do if you see anything suspicious and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's with mass transit, and then I noticed that riding on the trains also. I was on Amtrak and they had like some QR codes, and they had pamphlets in the seat. So I guess this is like something that is like you know being put out throughout mass transit.
Right.
'Cause I got some information when I was Amtrak, and I'm quite sure if you drive Amtrak, you see the little pamphlets that they put in your seats. And but we also there has been, I sent you a recent article where there was like I think about 13 individuals,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Trenton, Camden, and I mean places that are very close by,
Mm-hmm.
involved with human trafficking. And it was,
Right.
a lot of our folks. That's a part of it, and that's the most recent one I sent you, where they had arrested them individuals,
Mm-hmm.
and they charged, and I guess they getting ready to, you know, be dealt a stiff blow when they get sentenced. But that's one of the most recent articles. So, you got to be very careful because, you might be thinking it's folks from other ethnic groups, but our people have now, you know, um, joined in with the human trafficking of our women and men. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not leaving men out because men are being trafficked too.
Right.
These young men are being trafficked. If you paid attention, it's going on in Virginia, North Carolina. I mean, all over. It's like so many of our missing women and girls,
Mm-hmm.
and men and young boys being gone missing, going missing. So here, at one time when we was trying to put together a street team, where now the newly elected council at large, Donna Jackson, who just got elected here in the city of Newark, we used to
Mm-hmm.
take shifts because a lot of little young girls was going, off to school, and you had guys that was trying to lure them in their cars.
Right.
So we try to build the task force here, to take on shifts,
Mm-hmm.
to start, making sure that we get safe passage for our young, children going off to school, because it was getting kind of hectic here in the city of Newark, which is still going on, but you don't hear, very much on the news about it. But
Mm-hmm.
we do have a lot of missing, you know, youth being, missing here in the city of Newark. So, but the coverage, and that's why it's so important about the campaign, the Ebony alert
Right.
that you are putting together, because we don't get very much coverage here, because
Right.
nobody gives a damn about our people, but we better start caring about them. So that's my 2 cents with that. So
Okay.
stay visual, stay alert, watch your surroundings. And definitely, I want to say, because I see a lot of people, especially our younger generation, they keep these headphones in their ear
Mm-hmm.
and they walk around and they be just listening to whatever they listen to, and they don't be staying focused. I mean, like, you gotta at least have one of your ears out so you can hear. And that's another thing with, put your phones down, take them earphones out your ear, and stay alert,
Mm-hmm.
and watch your surroundings, and definitely watch the people you hang around with, because your own friends could be even a part of trafficking or sexual, being a sexual predator, because we have a lot of that going on too, where they using our women and girls, and for sex objects.
Right.
So it's just a lot, but
Mhm.
we just have to, you know watch watch ourselves and watch our people. If you see something suspicious or something about to happen to our people, say something or do something, because
Well,
that's what we did.
and now we have to take things to the next level, which
Of
is one of the things
course.
we're going to be doing starting here in Philly on Friday. We're going to have our own community town watch, our own community mayors, and our own community block generals or community generals. Because the way our communities are now gentrified, we don't have communities like we did. So we're going to have to do like the area. Anyway, that's going to happen on Friday of this week so that we can begin to at least have a better capability to manage what's going on in our communities and to do it amongst ourselves first. So we'll talk more about that next Saturday because we have a meeting here in Philly on Friday. And all of you are invited because it will be virtual, so you'll be able to join in. But you're going to get ready to see organizing, as Brother Malcolm had suggested. He talked about a united Black Front. And so now we're going to proceed in that manner so that those of similar and like minds that want to be organized to begin to deal with some of these issues. So we're going to talk more about that next week. We're going to get ready to close out now. Before we do, Brother Luma, tell us about what's going on tomorrow. The meeting, Bluetooth. Uh-oh, did we lose him? Okay, well, let me go with it. Okay, so tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we are going to have our weekly Ubuntu meeting. And what Ubuntu is it's a lot of things, but our focus right now is justice and repair. And we're going to do it through the arts, music, art, visual art that is, uh, writing, all of that. But specifically right now, music. And so the projection is for August the 23rd that we will be in New York. And with that, provide an array of musical artistry as well as visual art. The projected location is Central Park. And so this will be the kickoff concert. There will be concerts all over the country during the next 3 years. Again, we know how to generate our own income, our own revenue. Now, this kickoff one will be free. It's also going to, again, salute the 123 countries. And after that, we will be going to different cities, recruiting new talent, showcasing new talent, and also having concerts and other kinds of arts and culture programs, events. So, again, if you're interested in any of that, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, we will be on Zoom as well as Facebook Live. And we certainly welcome you all to join us. Okay, and you should have already gotten the link because we sent something out earlier already. Please feel free to share it. And again, those brothers and sisters who want to have their work shown, as we build and grow, we will be sharing this kind of information with those who will begin to tap into us. So this is going to be an excellent way to market one's product. And again, not just for music and entertainment, but at some point, actual products. This is, again, a way that we're going to build what we've been talking about with Black nationalism, with Black economics, etc. Keeping more of those dollars amongst us and utilizing dollars that's going to help our communities, our families. So with that said, again, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Ubuntu meeting. We try to keep it for only 1 hour. So let folks know, don't be coming in at 8:30 because you're going to miss a lot because we're going to try to stick to the hour. Okay. Brother Moon, are you back? Because we're ready to close out. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yep, we're getting close out for this evening, family. Thanks for joining us once again for this episode of New Day Resurrection and Liberation. I want to give thanks first and foremost to the Most High Creator Creatress. Give thanks to the ancestors and the elders, those who have shed blood, sweat, and tears and paved the way to allow us to be here today. I want to thank you all. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your time, energy, and effort, dedication, determination, and discipline. I bid you all truth, justice, peace, love, freedom, power, prosperity, protection, patience, and divinely principled purpose. I want to say let us continue to strategize, organize, and mobilize. And finally, of course, Pamoja Tutat Shenda, which means together we will win. All right.